What up? It's Matt, Taco Potato Mustang. Haven't made a video in a while. It's been so long since I've done anything car related or even like driven one of the Mustangs that I just did a trip to the library. It's not even a mile from our place, just to drive the car, like to go return a book, to drive the dude's thing. Oh my God. I have no time. There's no time. I'm back in the Taco Potato Mustang garage for the first time in like 3 weeks. And I'm gonna hook the battery back up on the Fox body and see if it starts up. I feel like I do this every other month. So I have an update on non-Mustang related shenanigans. So I sent an email to the dealership for the car that I ordered a couple days ago, because it's been almost 8 months since I ordered this car. And they initially told me 4 to 6 month wait after I placed the order. And I was being patient and, not trying to be, I knew that it was going to take longer than expected, but I didn't think it was going to take this long. And also with like minimal communication. Because I checked in with them back in July and they're like, oh, we don't have an allocation yet. And I was like, okay, whatever. So a sales manager calls me and he's like, first he's like, oh yeah, sorry, we just like haven't had an allocation or whatever. And he's like, we do have a car coming in, like soon. He's like, but it's an automatic. And I was like, I don't want an automatic. Like I ordered the manual. I want the manual. And he's like, oh, okay. So I was like, pretty diplomatic in my, engagement with him. Like basically like, look, man, I placed this order back in March and, under the impression that I was going to be getting a car like this year. And I liked my car. I'd like to get my car, I'd like to have the car. And he's like, yeah, sorry. And I'm like, also, I know there's a new version of this car coming out in 2024. Not that I'm like, opposed to getting the 2024 version. I just feel like if I tried to do that, it would take even longer. So I'm like, am I going to get this car, like a 2023 version of this car? And he's like, I think so. He's like, I think so. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, I'm going to call around and see if we can see if any other dealerships are like getting an allocation in. I guess that means like, I don't know, like an order of cars. And he's like, and I'll let you know. So then I was like, okay. So yesterday I was kind of annoyed, but I just decided, like, my son was sick. So he had a fever like the day before, so he couldn't go to daycare. So, but then, he was feeling fine yesterday. So we went and test drove a new Volkswagen GTI. Because I was like, well, if I'm not going to get my car, like maybe I'll just go look at some other options. The Volkswagen GTI was on the list, the original list that I had of cars that I was looking at. And I never found, the Golf R was also on the list. I never found one. But the guy that I had contacted back around the time that I ordered my car, he was like, yeah, there's like nothing in stock for like, 150, 200 miles. Like nobody has any inventory on the GTIs or the Golf Rs. And I was like, okay. So when I looked online yesterday or the day before, I saw there was a bunch of GTIs and like I think one Golf R that was like coming in or something. So my son and I, we went and just checked out a new GTI, and it was pretty nice. Actually, before I finish the story, let me see if the Fox body starts. Hang on. Nice. You'll be shocked to see low fuel light is on. Woohoo! Definitely gonna go for a drive today and tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do any work in the garage, but I'm excited to at least drive the car. Stand by for thoughts on the GTI. This is like the third or fourth day in a row, not even in a row, total, that I've tried to like work on completing this relatively minor, uncomplicated vlog since I've made a video in forever. Um, I think I was talking about the GTI. So I recap. Um, I went and test drove a GTI, a new one, a few days ago, partially due to my frustration with the car that I actually ordered not being available, the company, the dealership, whatever, not having any substantive updates after almost 8 months. Actually, I think tomorrow will be 8 months since I ordered my car. So I originally had the GTI and the Golf R on the list. But at the time, like back in the spring, late, like winter, spring of this year, nobody had anything in stock on either car. Like I emailed a couple of people, and one of the salesmen was like, yeah, there's nothing for like 150 miles around. And I was like, what? Okay. So I just kind of gave up on that. I didn't even end up putting much more effort into driving one of those cars. So a few days ago, went to a Volkswagen dealership because I had checked online just to see if they had anything, either GTI or Golf R in stock, and looked like they had at least a few on the lot. So I showed up with my son. We went and checked out the new GTI. I think it was a 2023 Autobahn, which is like the highest trim level. And it was a 6-speed manual, black on black, which I didn't love. I hate the all black wheels with black paint. I just think it looks but the car, like the interior, was really nice. It's obviously in great shape. It was pretty much brand new. It was like, I think they had just taken some of the like paint protection off of it, or whatever they call it, the things that they put on the car when they're being transported. The sales guy said that it had like I can't remember what it was, a clutch assist or something like that. I don't know what that even means. I'd have to look it up. But the clutch was super easy to modulate, like probably the smoothest clutch I've driven on a car in a while. And the shifter was really nice, very smooth, very easy to operate. The seating position was pretty decent. Like, I'm a tall guy, so like, I basically just got in and moved the seat back, and I fit pretty well. I didn't have to do much else. I guess I could have messed with the settings a little bit more. It had like power everything. It had the memory seat function, which I think is really good. And I had my son sit in the back with he was in a rear-facing car seat, and this car sales guy was right next to me in the passenger seat. His seat was forward a little bit, but he wasn't super tall, so he seemed like reasonably comfortable. Took it for a drive, went on the highway, got up to some pretty decent speeds. The power was like decent. Like on the one hand, like I feel like once you got above like 2,500 RPMs, you felt it kick in pretty decently, but it felt like it didn't feel like I don't know, like I feel like some cars that are turbocharged, they like go from like nothing to like everything really quickly. Like it's like, I don't know, it's like sort of like going from like, I think it's like the recovery from lag. I don't remember what you call it, but so it was like pretty smooth acceleration, but it wasn't like super fast, super quick. But it was like, decently fun car to drive. I just felt like I only had a few complaints. So one, I felt like it was a little bit underpowered, which should come as no surprise. Not that I'm like, I'm not like, I know that horsepower is not everything, but it's definitely something that matters. And I think it could use a little bit more power. I thought it was a little bit less fun to drive than the new WRX that I drove a while back. And then also the other complaint I have is is pretty small. Like it's like obviously it's a small car, but like I feel like you don't realize how small it is until you're inside of it and you're like up close looking at like the trunk and like the back seat space and everything. Like obviously it's a you know a car that's a hatchback, but the trunk space is super tiny. The back seat is pretty small, especially if you have a tall person driving. And so it just didn't feel like there's a lot of room inside. Like if I was a shorter person and we like didn't have a dog or didn't have a baby, just had one of them, like a baby or a dog only, I think it would be a more viable option. But I just can't imagine like putting like a full-size stroller and like a suitcase, anything like that in that hatch. Like it's just too small. Still, you know, overall a cool car. The interior quality is really nice. It's very comfortable. I didn't love the like infotainment. I think they call it like haptic controls or something. It isn't as, I feel like I thought it was gonna be worse than because of what people say in the car magazines. But my issue was I just didn't find that intuitive. Like, I don't know, I just felt like it was not super user friendly. But, you know, maybe, who knows? I don't know how long it would take you to get used to it. But so then like, oh, the other complaint is I think is $42,000 MSRP for that version, that trim. That's like $8,000 more than like an Elantra N. It's like a little over, I think it's like $5,000 more than the WRX Limited trim, which is the highest trim level you can get with a manual. And then it's like I think a Civic Si is like, I want to say is like mid-20s without any markups. So pretty expensive, like paying $42K before any like taxes, fees seems like, I mean, I know it's a nice car, but I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. And they did not have any Golf Rs. The guy told me that when they get a Golf R in, it doesn't stay on the lot very long, and like not long enough for anybody to test drive. Basically, they come in and somebody picks them up. And he said that they were not letting them go for less than $5K above MSRP. And I think the MSRP on a Golf R is like, I want to say it's like 45 or 46. So another 5,000 on top of that, like before anything else, like 51,000. I just feel like that's a lot for, I mean, maybe they are really cool, the Golf Rs. I'll never know because you can never test drive them. But I feel like 50K is a bit of a stretch for a car that I can't even drive, and that, I don't know, is still like pretty small because it's basically the same car as the GTI, just better performance, and I think a little bit nicer like interior stuff. So those are my thoughts on Volkswagen related issues that just happened recently. So then I get later that day, I get a voicemail from the sales manager at the dealership where I ordered my car from. If you're clever, if you were paying attention earlier in the video, you could probably guess which car it was based on one piece of information that I shared. But they basically were like, yeah, we found a dealership they found like an allocation or something, and that the car that I picked is supposed to be coming by the end of the month. I'm still skeptical because I feel like this is only a little bit of information after like 8 months. And like, I think I mentioned this earlier. They said something, basically they were like, well, we can give you an automatic. And I was like, I don't want an automatic. Like I want a manual. Like this is a no starter for me. I'm not getting an automatic. So, and then they didn't say anything about the color specifically yet. So I'm skeptical that the car that they're talking about is actually the right color, the color that I want. But they say it's a manual. So I don't know, I guess we'll see what happens. And the salesman who took my order, he emailed me like yesterday and said that, they were going to send me like a description sheet of the car sometime this week. I don't know what that means. Like, I'm guessing it'll say like the color and the transmission and anything else that would be included. But yeah, I mean, hopefully I'll know more sometime this week. But the whole thing is a little bit bonkers. But hopefully I'll have a new car in like 3 weeks. So, anyways, I don't got much else to share right now. I haven't had any new chicken sandwiches recently. And I haven't done jack shit on the Fox body. Anyways, hope you're staying healthy. Hope you're staying safe. I'm a little bit sick right now because it's like the worst time of the year, especially if you got kids. But yeah, keep an eye out for more on the Taco Potato Mustang YouTube channel. Peace out.